the exiled Jedi who defeated Darth Vader. Even though he should have been one of the most powerful Sith to ever live, Anakin Skywalker was cut down quite easily by the middling Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. It might have been Kenobi's innate knowledge of Anakin's style that led him to victory on Mustafar. But just a few weeks later, Skywalker, in his full black armor, would face down another Jedi Master, and this time he lost again. Why wasn't Vader strong enough to defeat this new Jedi? And what made this second Jedi Master so special that he could seemingly kill Anakin with ease? That's today's story. The Jedi is out there. I can sense him. Having just crash-landed an unmarked Imperial shuttle, Vader ignored all advice pertaining to repairs or rest. He was too determined to find and subsequently destroy a Jedi Master he knew to be on the peaceful planet. Vader needed to kill a Jedi and capture their lightsaber in order to make a Sith blade of his own. He wouldn't stop until he did just that. Meanwhile, the warrior in question, Master Enfola, a hulking, muscular, yet reserved fighter, was sharpening his revered combat skills in a training session with his only company, an enhanced protocol droid called Erix. However, this was suddenly paused due to him finding a disturbance in the Force. The two fighters were edging closer to each other in both the physical and ethereal realms. As Vader staunchly strode through the swirling canyons of the planet's surface, Enfola was already hot on his trail. Both looming presence finally met when Enfola appeared on a mountain above the canyon Vader was in, using his Force powers to shut a huge dam-like door called the Slice Gate behind the Sith Lord. There was no escape for the Imperial Enforcer, and the Jedi Master had some questions for him. "You stink of darkness. Was it you?" Enfola shouted from the canyon walls. Vader didn't bother to respond. The Sith Lord held his hand into the air and closed his grip. Enfola felt the walls of his throat close as Vader's Force choke constricted tighter and tighter. But with a quick Force push, the Jedi Master was able to break free. The powerful Jedi needed answers. Having felt a great disturbance in the Force recently, he realized that most, if not all Jedi, had been killed in a horrific purging. Keeping himself in isolation away from the rest of the galaxy, he had no idea who had caused this or why. But he felt the same dark side presence he felt back then, right now, as it was heavily emanating from Vader. "Did you do it? Did you kill them?" Down in the valley, Vader simply answered,
"Yes,"
with no remorse, and confirmed that he was there to kill the Jedi before him too. However, instead of feeling anger, an emotion forbidden by the Jedi Order, in Enfola he remained calm. In fact, the Jedi Master was almost relieved. He had lived on this planet in exile, having taken the bearish vow, a sacred oath of Jedi who felt they had lost their way. For years, Enfola had meditated and honed his skills, and now, faced with the dark entity that had destroyed his sacred order, he held his vow complete, and was once again ready to wield his lightsaber in combat. The mountain he stood on was actually Pas Val, a sacred ridge place that tested any Jedi who dared climb it. Having lived among it for a while, he knew it well. Enfola tried to end Vader almost immediately. He opened the floodgates at the cavern's base, sending a wave of water crashing into Vader. Though seemingly drowned, the Sith Lord, in great display of desperation and power, used all the Force power at his will to separate the water, creating two tidal waves around him. As he pulled apart the water with all his might, Vader managed to escape the trap and began ascending the mountain. However, this was only the beginning. As he crossed a very precarious bridge, huge eagle-like birds swooped down to attack Vader and knock him into the void below. They unrelentingly swarmed around him, beginning to outnumber the Sith despite his attempted use of the Force. At the top of Pas Val, Enfola and Erix, his training droid, watched the action unfold. They deduced Vader to be some sort of monster, going off the fact that he couldn't be Sith due to no lightsaber being detected on him. Yet all they really knew was that he was dangerous. Debating whether to blow up the bridge he was currently fending off the birds, Enfola and his counterpart decided to let Vader through. Though Erix warned of caution, Enfola welcomed the opportunity to face this unknown beast head-on. Vader's metallic legs screeched on the stones as he climbed up to the final incline towards Enfola. The Jedi taunted the Sith, whom he only knew as a monster that had killed his fellow members of the Order, before brandishing his green lightsaber. However, as quickly as it was unsheathed, Vader's anger boiled up to such a point that he immediately thrust the Master aside with his Dark Force powers, all the while steadily reaching the summit. Now, totally enraged, the Sith ripped apart Enfola's companion droid as he made his way to confront the Jedi. Vader took the droid's weapon, which was a sword fitted with the same lightsaber blocking material that Magna Guards used on their electrostaffs. Still calm, the Jedi was powerful in his defense and realized one key aspect of their fight. Vader wanted his lightsaber, but the Sith was already weakened. Enfola took this opportunity to disable Vader. The intense fight, illuminating the mountaintop with flashes of green and purple, ended with Vader at the Jedi's will. Missing robotic limbs and his energy spent, Vader knelt before Enfola. "Once you are dead, I will seek out your master and destroy him as well." With that, the iconic, powerful, and deadly Sith Lord was thrown off the mountain, falling many feet down below. But Enfola couldn't have been more wrong with his last statement. Vader would eventually regain consciousness, and the first on his hit list was Master Enfola. But the story of their rematch is for another day. In their first fight, Darth Vader found himself no match for the Master Jedi. Without his limbs, he was forced to fight from the confines of that horrible black suit, and that became his greatest weakness, as Master Enfola tore away at it with his lightsaber. Had Vader had a lightsaber of his own, the battle might have turned out differently. But then again, it might have been the same. Master Enfola was one of the greatest fighters in the Jedi Order, in some ways even greater than Mace Windu. And even though Skywalker was the chosen one and emboldened by the dark side, he somehow kept coming up short against the seasoned Jedi Masters.